Robert Venatoli from Silver State Preps, and we're doing our Round 4 coverage of National Signing Day, sponsored by First Transmission and Auto Care. And I'm here with my co-host, Joe Baker. Once again, the dynamic duo is back. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. It's nice to sit back in front of here, man, and get some work done, talk about some football.
Yeah, we got a lot of great football to talk to.
Definitely.
So many prospects signed today. Once again, congratulations to all the prospects that not only informed of your college decisions, but just for signing that letter of intent. This day is truly about you, and me and Joe here, we're just glad that we get to represent you guys, in a manageable fashion. What do you got to say to the recruits before we break this down?
Congrats, man. This is everybody's dream to go to the next level. Not very many people get to play football in college, and it's an honor to get to that next level, especially those that get to go D1, because after that, it's a little bit easier road to get good hands on, but also those D2 scouts also have a lot to make for them.
Yeah, great words, spoken from a wise man. And we're going to get down to our first question today. You got the prospect list. You got Nick Gates at Nebraska, Tyrell Crosby at Oregon, Casey Hughes at Utah. Those are really the big three, as far as the premier prospects in the Valley, as all the, multiple recruiting services, project. But who do you think is going to have the best career? Who will translate their game the most to the next level?
It's hard not to pick between Tyrell Crosby and Nick Gates, but I'm going to have to take Casey Hughes on this one. He's going to Utah. He plays in a good conference where good running backs come out. You look at the history that conference in the Pac-12 provides for running backs. So with that being said, you look at Utah. I think it's a good fit for him, and they have a good read option game that they can run with him. So it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses through the 4 years he gets in college.
I think that's a great pick. Described as an athlete prospect. We're not quite sure, how he'll be used for the Utes, either at running back like you mentioned, or he's also been a shutdown corner for the legacy program throughout the last 3 seasons. But I'm going to have to go with actually our hometown boy. I see you repping the UNLV Rebels. I know you're excited about Palo Verde defensive lineman Michael Hughes. Kid is just an absolute monster. He commands the double teams. A lot of kids, in the Valley get sacks or get tackles for a loss, because they have, a Matt McDermott, of Moapa Valley, talking about Sam Redmond, or Josh Hamilton had 12 sacks this year because of Michael Hughes. He's such a decoy at the defensive tackle position. He can also be disruptive, get in the backfield. We've seen him a couple times. We've seen him against Centennial. We've seen him against Cimarron in the playoffs, Bishop Gorman in the playoffs. And even though they got shellacked by Bishop Gorman, he let Randall Cunningham know that he was there a couple times.
Definitely. You look at him, and he had a great season at Palo Verde. Michael Hughes definitely was the main focal point on that defense, and you had to have a game plan for him on offense.
Right.
If you wanted to run the ball, if you wanted to have any kind of success, you had to make sure that Michael Hughes was blocked. Because if you wanted to get anything open, it had to go through him.
I know Bobby was really excited about this. I talked to him the other day, and he just, when he talked about Michael Hughes and Tim Huff and the rest of his recruiting class, especially locally, the first prospect that came to his mind was Michael Hughes, and with good reason. And he's happy to be a Rebel. He had other offers from Duke, from Colorado State. He wanted to come here. He wanted to stay for his family, and it's just so great and enlightening when you get a prospect that not only wants to be a Rebel, as they say,
right.
But he's excited about it. And I think he's going to change the culture there.
Right, and the UNLV could definitely use a defensive starter like him on the side of the ball like that. Him coming in as a freshman, I think he has the potential to start there because
right.
we've watched their defense go, and didn't they just lose 7 starters on the side of the ball?
They did.
That's huge for that defense. So I think Michael Hughes definitely can put a void at that defensive tackle and come and make a difference for him right off the back.
Right. Also, if we're going to talk about who can make an impact at the next level, I'm going to go D2 for you. I know I'm kind of a homer because this is my boy, but Tyler Newman, shout out to you once again. Dixie State Red Storm commit. He's going with Faith Lutheran's Danny Otoa, the linebacker, and Hayden Solis, the tight end defensive lineman prospect, also with his own center, Scott Hughes. I think he's going to do great. I look at his tape, and when I break it down, I kind of see a little bit of Johnny Football. Now, I know it's a little premature, to discuss, but he just looks so explosive. He's a dual threat. His athletic ability doesn't get mentioned enough. I think Tyler, is really going to have a great career at the D2 level.
Oh, definitely with Dixie State. I think Ty Newman has definitely the abilities to go to the next level and succeed, especially with that type of team around him. At Dixie State, they play in a D2 program, so I think Tyler Newman and the way he fits and his size definitely fits with that type of level.
We're going to go with our second question. most surprised prospect that didn't sign as of now. Now, this doesn't mean they're not going to sign. Michael, we got a lot of good, players still to sign. We got Drew Doxtator, we got Jacquez Kalili, and Trey Johnson. I know Jake Ortel of Palo Verde has a couple, scholarship offers, but I haven't heard anything from him. Jake, if you're watching, reach out to us. I've even checked also other media reports. I'm ashamed that, I would like to admit this, but I've heard nothing on the kid. I mean, who are you most, shocked that hasn't signed yet?
It's tough to not go with all three of these guys. I mean, we were looking at Drew throughout the whole season, and he had looks at by schools like a USC looking at him, before they went through that whole thing with Ed Orgeron. So, I mean, I think it's interesting to see where he's going to go. And Trey, I mean, we're still waiting on his SATs that he's been getting ready for. So,
right.
I'm hoping to see Trey, but really my biggest concern is Kalili because, 6 foot, 180 pounds at the running back, that transitions well into the next level at college. So when you see that size and talent, that he put on the field, especially around Desert Oasis, they didn't have the best team out there around him. He really made that team, who they were this season. They wouldn't have won anything without him. So definitely I'm going to keep my eye on Kalili and see where he goes in college.
Hey, definitely. For all 4 of these players, I hope Bobby can, pick them up. I know the recruiting class is already at 16, but hey, why not go 20? You got Drew Doxtator. I know you got 2 quarterbacks on the roster. We're going to get to them in round 5 of our national, signing day discussion, but why not add a prolific passer? I feel like the knee injuries is what holds him back, but if he's healthy, he's on the ball right there. He's established football receivers throughout his career, and he's come up with nobodies.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and Trey Johnson. Obviously you're not going to play him at the quarterback position.
No way.
But you can sprinkle in a little wildcat. Why not bring some excitement to this offense? You can play him as a third down back in the slot, kick returner. You can sprinkle him in. I'm really surprised with him. He's going to win our Offensive Player of the Year award. You got Jacquez Kalili, who won our Running Back Position of the Year award. He's a dynamic back. You also talk about Jake. Those are 4 monumental prospects that would, be key for our program if Bobby decides to offer them. I don't know what Bobby's intentions are with those 4, but hopefully they can get, some looks with the UNLV culture.
Definitely, and you can also look at Antray. Remember last year when we decided to sign Devontae Boyd. that speed out of basic right there, who was a 1,000-yard receiver, right? Yep. And obviously that's coming up later in the discussion, but when you look at it that way, Antray would be a real nice fit with that. That's speed kills in the game, and that's definitely the truth for it. And Antray definitely can put that anywhere. Definitely doesn't belong at the quarterback position. He knows that after we've spoke with him,
Right.
He's told us, I'm not a quarterback, but when you look at him, he can run the ball, and he can definitely make plays with his feet, and that's where he belongs. It's just anywhere that touches the ball, because he's going to make a play regardless, really.
Yeah, last thing I hope, I just hope, if we can't get all 4, which I know Bobby likes to keep his classes small, because we have a bunch of, upperclassmen, throughout the next 2 seasons. Let's at least get one of them. Let's at least get Jacquez Kalili. You got Tim Cornette departing. I'm telling you right now, Bobby, if you're watching this, Jacquez Kalili is going to be a bona fide star. He has the work ethic. He's hungry. Let's just get the kid a Scully.
And another big thing is, they're also losing their back-to-back season 1,000-yard rusher and Tim Cornette. So, they're going to need somebody to play that running back position. I don't know how. I haven't looked at their depth chart recently at that part particularly. But I think Joquez can really add some depth into that.
Hey, definitely. We're going to get to our next question. Which D2 kid that didn't sign a D1 scholarship do you think should have, gotten a look?
Well, we were talking about Ty earlier, and the only reason why I can't say Ty is because of his size. Unfortunately, it's tough to be that size and actually go to the next level. There has been players that have done it. Obviously, you look at a Russell Wilson and Drew Brees, but, those are also guys that were well-bred into what they did. They had those intangibles that, don't come all that often. These are once-in-a-lifetime players, but, if Ty can show something at Dixie State, maybe he can transfer somewhere to a bigger D1, not obviously in Alabama or anything like that, but somewhere.
Let's hope we can get him at UNLV. I'd love to see the kid.
A kid out of UNLV,
man.
Great. But I'm going to have to take Lance Worthington. The kid played like a monster at Centennial, so, you look at what he did for him and everything. He really did make a difference for Centennial. and for him not to go D1, and you told me, that he was getting looked at by other schools like in Oregon, like Utah State even,
Yeah.
Utah State could have used a kid like him.
I wish he had committed
Definitely.
earlier.
I mean, Southern Oregon, obviously we're going to talk about him later, but they had a great recruiting class and they got him, but when you can go to D1 and play for bigger schools, that's bigger attention for you, so I mean, if you want to get noticed in the football world today, D1 is definitely the way you should have gone if you have that opportunity.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely glad you mentioned Lance. Shout out to Lance once again. Follow my Twitter, the real Lance6. I mean, good friend of the show. I love him. To death as a player. He's just, he's just so explosive. And I mean, I don't want to throw out the DeAnthony Thomas comparisons because they were the number 6. But if you get this kid the ball in space, I'm telling you, he can just fly. I saw him against Palo Verde earlier in the season, and it's just on a simple sweep. 2 Palo Verde defenders come up to get him right at the line. Juke, breaks the tackle as he's gone for a 76-yard touchdown. I mean, you just can't teach speed like that in the open field, and it's very unfortunate that Utah State didn't come in for him, but I know he's happy with his, choice at Southern Oregon. And